Hi, I'm Eric. I found my phone and welcome to another video. Today we're getting back into Björk finally with the last album I have never heard from her, which is Medulla, which came out in 2004. It's been 20 years and it is now finally time for me to hear it for the first time. I don't know why you guys never clamored for this one, but I am excited to test it out, see if her fifth studio album is for me. So anyway, let's get into it. Track number 1, Pleasure Is All Mine. Oh, starting a cappella. Sounds like heavy breathing. Oh, the pleasure is mine to finally let go. Okay. Oh, taking a breather. Oh, exceptional use of the gong. Now she sounds almost like it's crying. We're still heavy breathing. So that was Pleasure Is All Mine. And that was an interesting start to the album. I looked it up. It's apparently about breastfeeding her newborn daughter at that time. That's a really tender experience to showcase and start off an album with. It seems like it will be primary vocal heavy during this album that is basically an a cappella album, which is going to be a little more of a unique experience and one that's quite different than the lush production that she's probably known for, but I'm buckled in for the ride. I think I'm going to have to listen to the album in full and also get into it a bit more before I can say if this song is one I'm going to gravitate towards though. So pardon me not having a big initial reaction, but track number 2, Show Me Forgiveness. Okay, direct moment. The shame is endless, God. Oh, the humming is so nice. So that was Show Me Forgiveness, and that was a quick song, just over a minute, and it's about asking for forgiveness when you let down yourself, and if you give yourself a bit of grace, then you'll be able to survive. And yeah, I like the message of it. It was delivered in a very slow, typical Björk style. I think it made it hard to follow originally, but I could see myself liking it as a palate cleanser of sorts, especially because there's no background in it at all. It's really just her saying that message, having a bit of gibberish and humming at the end. But yeah, it's a nice little neat package. Track number 3 is Where Is the Line? Ooh, there is a little something. Was that her voice distorted or another voice? Ooh, a little choir moment. We love a vocal remix. Is the line with you? I want to be flexible. Me too. Okay, letting it breathe a little bit. Oh, there is some distortion on the vocals. I want you to have capacity for you and me. Oh. This part feels like I'm adding some keyboard vocal effects. So that was Where Is the Line? And you ask where those boundaries are. You set them. Power to you. I like the song's message, and it is a catchy refrain of Where is the line with you? It's catchy. It could have been in a completely different arrangement with different things that are not human voices, and it would have been catchy and would have been a hit regardless. But yeah, this song is actually really fun and it's very creative with the vocals. If you are going to make an a cappella and vocal heavy album, I highly recommend doing it like this, where you are editing and you are going into some more, cuts and doing some really cool beats with it, because I knew you could. The first 2 songs were definitely on the slower side, which, as you may remember from some of my other Björk reactions, the slow songs don't always appeal to me that much. This song was catchy. It's rhythmic. I liked it. It felt chant. It felt like we were in a circle making this song happen, and it was really cool. Track number 4 is Vokuro. Ooh, slow humming. Is this an Icelandic? This feels almost like a hymn or like a church thing. Oh, she seems committed now to the feeling. So that was Vokuro, and I said it felt like a hymn or something a little more calm and somber. And it is. It's an Icelandic lullaby that she updated with this arrangement of the voices. And yeah, it's gorgeous. It does give me a bit of whiplash from Where is the Line to Vokuro, because we were really just up and at 'em. Where is this line setting the boundaries to? Zen, go to sleep, my child. And yeah, it continues the theme of her being inspired by her daughter, as we had with Pleasure Is All Mine, and now we have it in Vokuro. Yeah, it's nice to see how much parenting and being a mother has really impacted her work. We've seen it in later projects, but it's nice to see really where it's beginning. Track number 5 is Oll Birtan. I'm hoping I'm not messing that pronunciation, but I know that it's not English. Oh, repetition. Oh, she's screaming now. Oh, well, now she's done. It's kind of like a waltz, 2, 3. Okay, scream it, girl. That was Oll Birtan, and that was a strict vocals from Björk and regular vocals from Björk, and it translates to all the brightness, but that is the only actual words in this song. Otherwise, it is gibberish, and we know Björk, we love Björk, we know that she sings in gibberish, and especially as someone who doesn't speak Icelandic, it is kind of funny to be like, is this another language or did she make up the language? But the song is comprised of mostly gibberish and mostly her vocals. A cool concept. It definitely made me feel uneasy. It was just the presentation coming through the speakers. It felt like a bunch of flat vocals on top of each other. Not flat in terms of how it's pitched, but in my head, in my synesthesia, in my mind, it's really just like stack, and that's overwhelming. It feels like a lot of paperwork. And I'm not trying to do paperwork right now. I'm trying to listen to an album. So it is a very like overwhelming presence, even though there's not real non-vocal production in this piece. So it's very strange. It's a sensation I'm not quite familiar with because I don't really listen to all vocal albums. But yeah, it was an interesting sensation. I don't think I liked it that much, but it's a cool concept, especially with her trying to push through this wall to let the brightness come through. You can definitely hear that in her screams. So I think of it definitely more as a performance art rather than a piece I want to regularly listen to. Track number 6, Who Is It? In parentheses, carry my joy on the left, carry my pain on the right. That ain't a moody title. Oh, she's gotta let it out. Let it out. Is that like a bat? Okay. Beat it up. Oh, this is the human beatbox. Is it the same one as before? Who is it? We're handing it over. So that was Who Is It? In parentheses, carry my joy on the left, carry my pain on the right. I don't know why you have that long parentheses. Who Is It is quite prominent through the song. So I don't really know why she decided to have that additional addendum to the title. That said, I really like the song. It is still primarily vocals. I'm pretty sure it's all vocals. But it was originally intended for Vespertine, so they just changed it how they went about this song. But this song, it's a good feeling. I liked the sonic vibes of it. Lyrically, it's trying to get you to think about who's helped you and inspired you throughout your life. Who is it that gives you your crown? Who picks you back up when you're feeling down? And really is always that reliable person in your life. And that could be a romantic interest, it could be a platonic interest, could be a family member, it could be a friend, mentor, a pet, all of the above. It's very much a sweet song. I have really liked Björk for her ability to tell stories beyond a traditional romantic paradigm. And I think she really channeled it here, and it sounds really lovely. It feels like a really good inclusion on this record, and it makes me more invested in it. Track number 7 is Submarine. Ooh, we get deep. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is this a noni? Get out of that deep sleep. Oh, you better sing, girl. Oh, those vocals there do sound like kind of a woodwind section. So that was Submarine, and it was not a noni, it was Robert Wyatt. Cool, just want to make sure I credit them appropriately. But this was an a cappella duet between them. This song is about trying to get a dormant part of yourself awake again. So for Björk, it was songwriting after having her first child and getting back in the studio and making magic happen with this project and the ones that came after it. It is a slower delivery, much like a lot of Björk's heartfelt performances. It was a bit hard to follow during it, but I support the message and appreciate learning its deeper meaning after looking it up, following listening. Track number 8 is Desired Constellation. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Is that vocals? Something on your behalf. This is an eyes closed song. It's so bright yellow. You throw the stars like dice. That's gorgeous. Metaphor. Oh. Repeatedly. I love those muffled vocals. Oh, I like how she repeated the repeatedly. Oh, raspy time. Yeah, oh, that's a perfect muffled vocal. So that was Desired Constellation. That was my desired song from this album. Oh my gosh. I really fell in love with that song. Oh, that was gorgeous. Apparently that sound that was throughout it is a sample of her own voice from Vespertine, which is wild. I don't know how I can deconstruct that to see it, but gosh, I felt like a million little fireflies like twinkling in the backyard. Oh, synesthesia is really a fun ride, I'll tell you that. It was perfect. It was bright yellow, just like the stars in a rural sky. And oh gosh, I just felt that so spiritually. But the song is about trying to make something right and, you know, seeking justice for yourself or for others, or I'm not really quite sure. It is a pretty sparse lyrically song, and I'm okay with that because it's beautiful. The instrumental, if you can call it that, really does speak volumes and really carries the tune. And apparently Björk's producer literally surprised Björk with this sample, which is so cool. It's a fun little surprise, and it gave her her desired constellation of the song. And oh gosh, this just feels serendipitous. And I think that's the first time I've ever used that word. It feels like I've stumbled upon it at the perfect time, and thinking about, oh, you keep rolling the stars like dice to hopefully get your desired outcome, and you got to keep rolling. You're doing it repeatedly. I feel that right now. I did 4 job applications today, so oh gosh, the song speaks to me. I feel like the stars were aligned for this track, absolutely. And wow, this is such a gem. Why is it not on the first half of the album? I guess it might be the start of side B on the vinyl. And if so, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely blown away by this track, honestly. Track number 9 is Oceania. This song, apparently on Spotify, has exactly 4 million streams. I'm so sorry to break such a nice round number. Oh, one breath away, I guess. Okay, we beatboxing again. Since you left my wet embrace. Why is Björk always wet? Oh, gotta let it out again. What is that? Oh, I like this hit. Oh, just felt right. So that was Oceania, and what an interesting backstory of that song. So this is told from the perspective of Mother Oceania, so the ocean goddess. If you think Mother Earth, this is the water version of that. And she is talking from that perspective, which is interesting. I actually really like that. And the wet embrace now makes a whole lot of sense rather than just her being wet. But she talks from the ocean's perspective of humans doing a lot since they evolved. And that while they see continents, she sees just islands because she covers the entire world. Really, there is only one ocean on this planet, if you think about it. They are all totally connected. And she says, your sweat is salty and I'm why, because they're still a part of our oceanic background and our ancient ancestral paths still within humans, according to this legend that she's created. Which is a very interesting story in its own right, but it is very interesting that she was asked to make a song for the Summer Olympics and she made this one. Imagine just being at the Olympics and this is the song that comes on. And that's not a joke, I'm saying it's not meant to be at the Olympics or anything like that, but it is something that I could see people going there and be like, oh, this is an interesting time. Because this is 2004, maybe in the 90s. It would have been a little more thing for something more experimental. I was surprised to read that, and I think that's cool that she did have that moment. That is a fun, cool moment. And if I were ever asked to write a song for the Olympics, I would find that so cool. I think Taylor Swift did that with Change, and then Billie Eilish, she didn't write Birds of a Feather for it, but she performed it there, and so that's also cool. It's awesome to get that opportunity to perform at the Olympics. That's super cool. And so I think it's cool that she tied it to us all being together as one, as all coming from the ocean. Even though we're competing against different countries, we are all together. So that is a very cool story for a song. And I do like it. It does have a little more elements in it that give it a bit of life. And I think for a song about the origin of human life, I feel like it should have a bit of life, shouldn't it? Track number 10, Sonnets / Unrealities XI. Your lips, I've loved them. Oh, scared me a little bit. Take her hands. Ooh, little woman LW. I don't know why that was only half abbreviated. So that was Sonnets / Unrealities XI, and the lyrics are from a poem from E. Cummings called It May Not Always Be So, and I Say. Do I know what they're really talking about? Not particularly. I think as a whole it's generally accepting that your ex has moved on really with someone else, and to accept the loss of love in your life that is, I guess, a voluntary loss of love from the other person's point of view, not a sense of loss of life. It was all right. I definitely have tended to like the songs that have a production element to it. This is really fully a cappella, and I know that all the songs are really a cappella, but I like there being elements that are not lyrical. Non-lyrical vocals in this vocal-heavy album are appreciated. I think it gives me something to latch on to ground us in the music. And I don't always feel so grounded. It feels very interlude-like in this project. And so it's not a song that I see myself listening to out of the context of this project. Track number 11 is Ancestors. Okay, a little bit of moaning. Is that piano? Casually? This feels like hyperventilation. This actually reminds me of The Pleasure Is All Mine, with how much heavy breathing is going on. Is this a reference to childbirth? That changing and breathing feels like that. What? That sounds like a chipmunk, but like a feral one. Is that a masculine display? Oh, it got loud. How is someone making that noise? So that was Ancestors, and that was gibberish, and it was Inuit throat singing. My apologies if any of my reactions are seemingly disrespectful. I am not trying to be disrespectful to anyone who throat sings. I know that that is a very culturally sacred thing. I don't mean to be disrespectful at all when I say that. It makes me viscerally uncomfortable to listen to this song. It might be a synesthesia thing. It might just be a performance art thing. It feels to me like a part of a gallery where they block it off, and there's a video in there, and they're saying, viewer discretion advised, it might make you uncomfortable. And this song made me uncomfortable. I don't want to listen to this song again. I can already tell you it's not going to go in top tier at all. And maybe it's just a genre that I can't really get into. I apologize in advance on that, but oh gosh, that stressed me out. I feel my heart rate accelerated, and I think I just want to move on. Track number 12 is Mouth's Cradle. Ooh, feels like Fireflies. The Owl City song, not like Desired Constellation. Is this heavy breathing again? Okay, there is some production on that. It's a little slower, but there is a groove. Oh, we are doing maybe some more throat singing, though I feel like it's not as overbearing. So that was Mouth's Cradle, and that is another song about breastfeeding. Cool. I love it. It has inspired her to make, I think, 3 songs on this album. Power to you. I mean, I didn't know that there were many songs about breastfeeding out there, but she has really found the power in it, and I applaud her for that. She also mentions, and it's a bit political, she says she needs to build a shelter away from all the Osamas and Bushes. Okay. She's thinking politically here, and I think in terms of other political messages that I'm sure this album does have, one notable thing I'm thinking of is the fact of the emphasis of breastfeeding, which I feel like is for some reason, like in public, controversial. I think that's ridiculous. Absolutely. I don't get what's going on, why people are so concerned about that. People need to literally realize that that's how we have fed our children over the entire human existence. But I'm sure there are also other political themes. I think certain songs, because of their tendency to focus on the vocals and all of this interesting style of vocal-only production, it might take away from us fully understanding all the political messages. It doesn't make it any less poignant, just maybe less easily observable. I think I like this song. I do need to hear it again, and I think in headphones, I think this one will hit a bit better. Track number 13, Midvikudags. Again, not an English language title. My apologies in advance if I messed that up. Ooh, a little squeaky. Oh, just like that it ends. So is Midvikudags. If you know Icelandic, please let me know what that title means. I do not know, and I do know that all the words that she said in that were gibberish. That was actually fairly pretty. I actually enjoyed that. And I think across most of the songs have been almost entirely lead vocals and maybe accompanying vocals, not a choir, not a beatbox, not the extra non-lyrical vocals. I think I like that one. And it was definitely, of the shorter songs, that one felt the most impactful and most relevant to be here. It leads us into track number 14, final track on the album, Triumph of a Heart. Ooh. Breathing exercise. Girl. This is twisted to have this as your last track. Ew. Oh my god, I love that. Oh, that was a smooth transition. The heart. Oh, slick ending. So that was Triumph of a Heart, and that is a anatomical exploration into your body, feeling the chemicals and emotions and the rush from dancing, which is such a cool concept and really ties the record together in terms of making a song that is danceable and talking about how all of this internal stuff really comes together to create the experience that you are living right now. I liked it. Eric likes an upbeat song. We know this. We know that we like a little more production into it. And the fact that it is very clearly vocals pulling that together is a very cool accomplishment and something I really appreciate from it. With that said, we have finished this album. I think I have a lot of thoughts. This is an interesting experiment that I've conceptualized myself at some point. I never ended up making the album. I'm not as dedicated as Björk is, but I have made several voice demos over time. And I think I did that to get the lyrics that I needed to get out and not be too stressed about the production about it. But I was hoping eventually later, if I liked the song, I would go back and work on it. That hasn't really happened yet. So push my experience with making that aside. Let's look at Björk's. I think there are several standouts from it that really show the accomplishment of working just with the human voice and coming together to create some really memorable moments, like Triumph of a Heart, Oceania, Desired Constellation, Who Is It, Where Is the Line? You can see these moments of magic within this project, and it makes me wonder, after seeing those more upbeat moments or those more fully produced moments, even if they are just fully produced only using the human voice, which is an incredible accomplishment, I think it's odd to have some of these very stripped back songs where it is just one lead vocal or maybe the duet, more of a hymn, or a lot of these cluttered things that are gibberish. It is an expansive look, but I don't know if it's a curated look of the human voice. I think some of these stripped back songs, they could have fully taken their place on another Björk record where she didn't want to produce much for that song in particular. And she has had those moments where she is fairly simple. And through looking up these lyrics and learning about the project, it is a really cool experience to think about where you were when you started wanting to make music when she was 18, the songs that she's singing in her little farm, thinking about what she would want to write and sing. And it really all started with her voice rather than any instruments, any sort of computer software. Not really what she was looking at. She was really just, vocalizing. And I think that connected with her experience becoming a mother and having this ties to youth and looking backwards instead of forward towards a futuristic sound, I think is a really cool idea. And again, I think this is a really cool experiment. And I think a stripped back album that's planned to be like that makes sense, but I don't know if that gels nicely with this vocal heavy songs that are more fully produced, more fully realized, in my opinion. The songs really bring it. And some other songs just feel like they were drafts, and then we've decided to just keep them and put them on the record. And I think that does seem to be a bit of a common thing, especially in Björk's later work, that there are certain songs where I feel like she gets a little bit too gratuitous with it, for my personal taste. I think if you were to go and say, oh, I'm going to listen to a whole 45 minutes of Björk just vocalizing and not having a lot of production, I think you might get some eyebrows raised. That if the whole project was more fully produced, it would feel more like I'm listening to music that makes sense for me to listen to. And that doesn't mean it's a bad or hard to listen to project, but I think it is a tougher sell than some of her other works. It really does feel like a work of performance art, and I mean that both in a positive and negative way, in that it's really cool and it's definitely something to be heralded as an artistic expression and something extremely creative. However, there is that element of performance art versus consumer listening. I don't know as a consumer if this is going to be a project I return to in full, much at all, past the filming and editing of this video. I will be re-listening to Post after 5 years of it, and now that I've gotten into Björk, I think I'll have a much different feeling on it, so check out that video coming soon. But I do feel like this is a project that is worth some diving into, but I don't know how deep I'm going to be diving in. With that said, here are some of my favorites of the top tier, the songs I love, the standouts, ones I'm playing over and over. Songs in the middle are songs I like, all of them to my playlist, but they might not be the top of the top. Songs at the bottom are just not really my thing. Doesn't mean it's a bad song, doesn't mean it can't be your favorite, just means it's not for me. And that is okay. We don't all have synesthesia, we don't all have sensory issues while we listen to music. And also, this is, again, a very big experiment, and I think she lands it sometimes, and sometimes she doesn't. If you like this video, please like it, please comment down below to react to or do next on my channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.